Nice to meet you. I'm genuinely surprised. This game released this month. What the hell? I guess I'm a new YouTuber now. A serious one. There will be no jokes in this video. Has many inspirations. Sound design straight from Crash Bash, animal buddies like Donkey Kong Country, and it even feels like early 2000s Cartoon Network got mixed in there as well. But for all the video game love that probably went into this game, its most obvious inspiration has got to be Wario Land. Sorry, Freudian slip. It seems the creator might have made the same psych error though, because while both games share the same metaphorical Daddy Wario, there are a lot of similarities between this and Pizza Tower. No, the phrase Daddy Wario does not count as a joke, that's a nightmare. Don't get me wrong, there is no problem with this game either way, and honestly it's easy to see the parallel thinking here. But also, look at these two games and tell me to my face they aren't the same game. Can I stop doing this voice yet? In AntonBlast, you play as a grungy main character who finds themselves suddenly tormented by an unknown adversary and has to dig all the way down into hell to kick its ass and save literally just themselves. Not truly a hero, Anton will find himself in many interesting and varied environments with new platforming elements sprinkled in constantly and an ever so slight emphasis on going fast. If I changed half a sentence there, I perfectly described Pizza Tower, just saying. The games are not the same, I know, but if you enjoyed Pizza Tower, I have a strong suspicion you'll enjoy this game too. That aside, I need to stop talking about it, so the rest of this review won't even mention the word pizza. AntonBlast has quite a few fun things going for it. For one, unlike He Who Shall Not Be Named, there isn't a dang combo meter or end level ranking, so I can just play the game in peace. There are collectibles in every level and a couple of extra modes like time trial mode or combo mode for those who want to push themselves to their limits. But that wasn't me, so I can't tell you what they're like. I might go back and complete everything eventually, but these types of games can be a bit daunting in that aspect because they require patience and skill. 2 sections of my resume left painfully blank. Instead, I play this game like a Sonic game. Go fast. Something that struck me as a bit odd, however, was that Anton has hit points. That may seem normal to most people, but Wario Land games didn't tend to have them. As a matter of fact, getting hit by things allowed Wario to gain new movement abilities in some of the games. But here instead, you gain new movements in specific areas that act almost like, animal buddy transformations in Donkey Kong Country. Along with that, many levels have new platforming elements, similar to, Celeste, where they show up in a level and are dropped by the next one. The pacing does its best to match the game itself. Fast. You don't spend a lot of time dwelling on just about anything in this game. Even the level themes tend to defy your general vibes. A mine where explosive candy can be found, a swimming pool straight from a horror game, a mall, anything and everything will get in your way. Even the very little story that exists isn't traditional. The devil finds out that Anton is redder than he is, so he steals his alcohol to get him to come to hell so he can siphon the red from him. It's also a little cute how the devil shows up on the loading screen to taunt you with some weird pun. But what sets this game apart is the expert level design. If you laid everything out, it might be pretty confusing where you're supposed to go. There are so many times where your path is blocked and you'll need to loop around to find the one thing that can clear the way, but it never kills the pace because the little details help keep you on track. For one, most levels are pretty railroaded. The developers did a lot of work to make it pretty hard to go any way except the right way at all times. This is even more impressive when you realize that each level ends with a trek backwards and a new path that retreads old ground. They also reuse the same tricks, which helps the player to keep a sense of what's going on. Things like these blocks which explode when you find the correct switch are introduced in a simple and obvious way, only to require more and more searching for them in later levels. The designs on the levels also have this unique sense of play, almost like the developer was playing a game in the process of creating one. Some levels are pretty linear smash fests, but the deeper into the earth you get, the more those same levels are replaced with looping, sneaky things that prod you onward without even noticing. The most notable for me was the horror-inspired level. I say inspired because I don't know if it's meant to be scary as much as it uses elements that are recognizable as scary. It starts out in just a pool, but as you explore, entire hallways will change shape behind you. Nothing is static. The paths you seek get creepier and darker as you go, and all lead back to the start. The geometry is meant to put you ill at ease, but if you take a step back, it's still a straight line, all leading to a subversion at the end, just when you think you're safe. Every level has 2 parts. First is just a hunt to find your way in, smashing things along the way, and solving some fun platform-heavy puzzles. They'll introduce you to new mechanics, ramp them up along the way, and by the time part 2 hits, you'll be ready, because what's next is... No good Wario Land successor would be complete without a hectic, timed run back from the end of the level to the start. New paths open up, and everything you learned about the level has to be reapplied at a moment's notice. This is where the design comes back into play. Again, it's always obvious which way you need to go, mostly because at this point there are giant signs that tell you where to go, but the developer can also speed things up a bit by reusing familiar locations. Muscle memory from your first trip kicks in, and you already know how to make the jumps you need to make to get back home unharmed. And to top things off, they like to throw in cool little extra things here. A blimp chasing after you, lava filling the screen, anything to keep you on your toes, since the timers aren't honestly all that challenging to clear. It's all good fun. The aesthetic is certainly very reminiscent of a time gone by, and the gameplay is cranked up to the max it can be. And with such a relatable main character, his alcohol was taken from him. All any of us truly want to do is kick back on a lazy day with some good booze and a nice slice of pizza. Damn it! This video is dedicated to Onyx. If you liked it, maybe like and subscribe. And if you really liked it, maybe check out this other video where I talk about a platformer.